It's JAYMOORE, the very best reviews. Tell them none can contest, we gon'
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Look like we had some problems with the microphone, but as always, live, you may come up with some issues. But nonetheless, we here. We about to get into it. Break down episode 4 for BMF Documentary, and episode 4 for Blowing Money Fast is about the world is BMF and some of the things that they were doing that led to them getting more heat on themselves. All right, now it look like we're having problems with the camera, and here I am. All right, so appreciate everybody for coming through. I'm going to break down what happened on the episode, some of the main points, and then, take it from there. So, let's get into it. And also let me know in the comments as well how many people have been watching this documentary, and let me know what you think. Couldn't hear. Can you hear now? All right. Having technical difficulties, man. Live TV. What can I say? So, what I was saying, but nobody can hear, is appreciate everybody for coming. How many people have been watching the documentary and enjoying it? Let me know in the comments as well. I'm just interested to know. Me, myself, I actually really like this documentary. I'm big on documentaries. So, that's one thing. Some people don't like documentaries, but I like documentaries, and I think it's very good. My main problem with it is 30 minutes. It's really good, and I'd rather it be at least an hour. Their true story and some of the things that they went through, I think is more interesting than what's made up. But they have to change some of the stuff up. Not that the show is bad, because I actually like the BMF show. I think that's a really good show, and I enjoy it. It's a show, so I don't take it for being word for word like a documentary is supposed to be. But that being said, the reality was kind of more interesting. But they're filling in the little bit of minutia of the day-to-day moments on the show, and the documentary is just hidden from big point to big point. So it's different. But with that being said, I enjoy it. Can y'all hear? You say you haven't watched one episode, just here to support. I appreciate it. So the sound and everything is good. I know I was having some technical difficulties, but D-Weave, man. Hey, this is something that I've said before about some of these gang leaders, drug dealers, criminal minds, etc. It's too bad they weren't able to use those talents for something more positive, because Meech is a unifier of people. He was able to bring people together. All right, thank you, sis. Appreciate it. What's up, Savannah Rivers? I got all the fam up in here today. All the channel members is here. The Mo fam is in the building. That's what's up. All right. So, it's a shame that these guys, some of these geniuses, and bringing people together, were not able to do it for more positive things for humanity, so to speak. This damn light is moving. I'm just falling apart over here today, y'all. You're going to have to bear with me. I got everything going wrong. Mic, video, light. There ain't nothing else left. Anyway. So, I think that if he was I actually think he was a good business mind in the drug world, but he wasn't a good businessman, because if he was, he would have had that label up and running and got better rappers so that it would have covered up what he was doing a little better, and I would have had that label up and running and people out making, have music out before I would have started to be so flashy. Because then you could say, well, we flashy because the music out, but they were flashy before they even had artists out. And Blue Da Vinci, even the cops was like, he trash, ain't nobody making money off of him. How the hell they got all this money? He should have tried to, stick with Jeezy. But we don't know how that all turned out and what was, the details. But Jeezy was in a circle at one point, and Jeezy was a big rapper at one time. I mean, Jeezy was probably the #1 rapper for a hot minute. I mean, am I right or wrong? Was Jeezy the #1 rapper? And what I mean by #1 rapper is there's always a point in time where it's one rapper that is elevated to be the biggest at that point. It used to be for a year or two. Now they don't hold on to the #1 spot that long. And it doesn't mean that they're the best, but they #1. Ice Cube was #1. 50 Cent was the #1 rapper at one time in the world. Lil Wayne was #1. Jay-Z was So, Jeezy was #1 at one time. They should have stuck with Jeezy. You know what I'm saying? Jeezy was #1 for at least about a year. So, Savannah, I'm losing weight. You don't know how much that just warm my heart. I've been on a diet. Man. My belly too big. I've been gaining too much weight. So I've been on a diet. So I appreciate it. Oh, sucking now. I'm getting, it's starting to be a little noticeable. Black outfit. The Men in Black returns. You say Jeezy was up there. The problem was he signed with Bad Boy than Def Jam. See, that's okay. See, I didn't know the details. When Jeezy was #1, he was with Def Jam, though. Because he wasn't with Bad Boy when he was #1. I remember he was with Def Jam. What was it? Thug Motivation. When he came out with Thug Motivation, that was when he was #1. So, you say for sure he held it down for a few summers, yeah. Bape Guy said Jeezy would have been in jail with the rest of them. You probably right. You probably right. Or maybe Jeezy wouldn't have never became Jeezy because he would have been partying and on that bull too much, or got locked up or anything. So who knows? But actually, when you watch the documentary, nobody in jail except for Meech. Even Terry ain't in jail. Meech the only one locked up. Everybody involved is free, which is crazy. Because ain't nobody in this documentary involved. All these people, left, right-hand man, you know what I mean? They all free, so I don't know, man. That's messed up. All right, you say that Boys in the Hood album was with Bad Boy. Okay. That Thug Motivation is what made him the biggest, though. But, so the documentary start off, they saying that around the early 2000s, BMF had expanded to like around 23 branches of BMF, around the country. So they had like 23, spots of doing business. And they had their main headquarters in Atlanta at this time. So Meech, he loving it. They feeling they can hide in plain sight in Atlanta because it's a lot of blacks with money doing big things. And he said in the documentary, it got to a point they had so much money, they had to spread it out throughout the whole entire country. And so, with that being said, hey, that's a lot of money. They said at one point they had like 400 members in the BMF, Black Mafia family. That's a lot of people getting money. 400 in the dope game? Like, it's Fortune, I don't know if they Fortune 500, but it's big companies that don't have 400 employees. they said they used to start throwing parties all the time, and it was like the greatest show on earth. That's what they started calling it, the greatest show on earth, and started attracting more and more attention. 50 Cent even said that, when he was coming up, and this is something that I knew even from my days being younger, that, he said, page 3 of the Dope Boy Handbook say, you don't be flashy, man. 50 Cent, page 3, don't show your money, man. So 50 Cent, he right, though, because your money is illegal and you doing something illegal. So normally you don't flash too much. You have a few nice things, but you don't flash too much because you don't want to attract the attention. And they did just the opposite of that. I mean, even they were saying that they would spend people's yearly salaries in one night at the club, just partying. And, it said that every business in Atlanta was eating off of BMF. It's like they kind of had supported the entire Atlanta economy, according to the documentary, from nail salon, barbershop, car dealer businesses. I mean, all kind of stuff going on that were supported by these people and what they were doing. They even had T.I. in there, and he was talking about what was going on in Atlanta, and he said that that they made Atlanta a destination for strip clubs, because, he said he done seen Meech throw $500,000 in cash in the strip club at one time, which is insane. $500,000 on booty, just booty flopping. You ain't even screwing them. Not that if you was screwing them, it would be any better, because I wouldn't pay $500,000 to screw nobody. But anyway, wow. And they would do it all the time. So, of course, if you a stripper and you hear people getting money like that in Atlanta, strippers talking about they making $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a night at the strip club, of course, all the biggest booties in the land is going to come down that way. I don't blame them. So, it said all the strippers loved them for their cars, money. Soon as they pull up, they was treated like royalty, which, it kind of makes sense, right? Somebody coming in about to throw $500,000 in the air. Hey, you want to sit next to me? T.I. said that he could tell that Meech had a vision and was trying to do big things. But, T.I. is younger than them, so I guess, I don't know. This is me assuming right here, but it don't seem like T.I. got in with them for whatever reason, so I don't know. Maybe you guys know a little bit more about T.I. relationship with BMF and why it did, or maybe it did transpire with something. I don't know. But at this point, they say Meech was the biggest drug dealer in America. Hold on. So that's a lot of drugs. The Amazon of dope. You ain't lied. So, what's up? Share my love. So yeah, they was on a whole nother level when they was doing things, and being the biggest dope dealer in America, you might not want people to know this. So they had different people in there in the documentary. They had this one FBI agent, Jack Harvey. Super cop extraordinaire. His daddy was an FBI agent. He, son of an FBI agent. I got to do like my daddy and bring law to this town type dude. And, he heard of a guy named Moochie, he said, in the late 90s. And, he said that's when he first started hearing about him and things, and they got on his radar. But then he didn't really know too much about them at the time. And then they had another dude who looked like a straight biker. He looked like more of a criminal than Meech. A tatted up biker looking dude. This dude was the assistant district attorney back in the day. All showed a picture of him all suited and booted, looking all squared up. This dude ain't no joke today, though. I guess he said to hell with that. But anyway, Rand, I think was his name, assistant district attorney, and he was talking a lot about the case and things, and he didn't believe they even existed as a drug organization, because he was like, this, they do everything the opposite of what drug dealers do, and this don't make sense. This ain't real. But he slowly learned that it was. So he said the first real break that they started to get was when they pulled over a guy and he had a kilo on him, a kilo of coke. And this dude tried to roll over and say, hey, I could give you BMF. And they were like, man, what? And they didn't believe it. They didn't, buy into it. He said he tried to tell different people. Nobody wanted to touch it. And it didn't really go nowhere. But that's the first time it kind of came up on their radar, with the drugs and BMF kind of being tied together in the same thing. And so, that was the first like crack in the system. So they had another dude, a black cop, that they had in there. He was an ATL cop. His daddy wanted to be a cop all his life. Never could be a cop because blacks couldn't be cops in Atlanta back in his day. And by the time they did allow blacks to be cops, his daddy was too old and had a job. And so he basically sat his son down at 6 years old. It was like, look, you got to be a cop for me. You going to be hobo cop. Nah, but he like, you got to clean up this city. The city needs you. I don't know. It worked. Dude became a cop. Wanted to clean up the city. He basically said when he saw BMF and all of that stuff going on, he knew the city of Atlanta wasn't ready for this type of, heavyweight movement going on. He said he even used to be doing surveillance at Magic City damn near every night just to watch them sitting up in Magic City. That ain't bad surveillance. He was watching it clap. He was watching it clap, baby, for a living. But, he said he thought Meech was going to be some big, hulking, bald, monstrous-looking dude. And he said when he saw him kind of a small, guy that was in all of the things, he thought he was a little shocked when he saw him and how everything was moving around. He said everywhere they go, people would kiss they behind. They would kiss they behind when they came in. Hey, man, they about to drop $500,000, okay? They did have Lil Meech mama in there. Her name Latara. And she was saying it was so much going on in Atlanta, this, that, and the other, that she decided to move to Miami. And that's when she learned she was pregnant. This is around the year 2000. And when Meech found out she was pregnant, he said he was the happiest man in the world. He got another little me on the way. He said that's all that was missing out of his life. He was happy that he had a son, which I could relate, because when I found out I was having a son, I had similar feelings, although I wasn't thinking about the dope game. Nevertheless, Lil Meech, who we all know, who plays Meech on the show, BMF, he was born in the year 2000. He only 22, so sometimes we forget, how young he is. But, when Meech picked her up and the baby, they say he put him in the back seat, in the car seat. First thing they did, he started blasting the music real loud. She like, you can't blast that music that loud with my baby. What's wrong with you? He like, man, he got to get used to this. This is life. He gonna have to deal with it. He got to get used to it. She said she was mad, crying. This dude blasting all this music and her baby and all of this and that. But he said that's just how he was, He had to get it started from day one, and that's how he did it. Meech really loved music, and they say that Meech and Terry was probably in love with music because their dad put it in their life. And so when they were trying to do something with the money, finance and music was like a clear choice and an easy choice for him to go for. And you know, and that ain't nothing old. And they even said this in the documentary, that street dudes with money, putting money behind guys with talent so they can go and make music or whatever. That's an old business model. I mean, I know it's a show, but we see that kind of happening in Power, Raising Canaan. I mean, it's been done on the streets with many other musicians, from Eazy-E to many others. I won't say their names because they may not have been as forthcoming as Eazy-E, but nevertheless, you know, that's how it was. They said that they had pictures of like Meech in Atlanta with like, you know, a lot of famous people from Nelly and I think it was Jermaine Dupri. They said Meech saw Puffy and Suge and Dupree and all of them as something he could be, like a, you know, media mogul, record label mogul. And he said he saw it as a way out of the drug business. And instead of being the Black Pablo Escobar, it was a way to like legitimize everybody. And so he said he didn't want people to go get locked up, go to jail, none of that stuff. So he was looking for a way to legitimize everybody. They did make a good point in the documentary about Outkast kind of putting the South on the map in '95 when they won Best New Artist, and how big of a deal that was for them in the South. And I remember that time when Outkast came out in '95, and I mean, they came out, boy, everybody was crazy for that first Outkast Southern Playalistic Cadillac funky music. But at the time, me being in Chicago, I didn't realize how much it meant for the South. And one thing about me growing up in Chicago is I was very, you know, I was in a very unique position because we didn't get involved in the East Coast, West Coast beef. We listened to Pac, we listened to Biggie, we listened to the South, we listened to Midwest, Chicago music. So we listened to all kind of stuff. We never picked one or the other or dissed the side in particular. So I didn't realize at that moment how big of a deal it was, but you know, they even had 2 Chainz in the documentary. He was talking about how big of a deal it was. And when they went up there, they got booed. And he was like, y'all gonna have to go and put the South on the map. You know what I'm saying? South got something to talk about, you know what I'm saying? That's all I got to say. South got something to talk about, you know what I'm saying? All right, one. South, you know what I'm saying? Got something to talk about, you know what I'm saying? Talking about, you know what I'm saying? But nah, they was like, yeah, you know, they was happy he said that, about time. Yeah, T.I. was happy, you know, he said that, and they said it started making ATL a spot for music, which I remember when that was starting to happen in the mid to late 90s. Everybody talking about Atlanta, go to Atlanta for music. Now it's a spot for music and film. But they started Atlanta transforming into like the new Motown, and you know, it's been bumping ever since. You know, Jeezy was in their circle. They showed him partying with him in pictures, but they ended up kind of like promoting each other in a way, because him being with them kind of brought him a little more attention, and then them having him around kind of made them look like, well, this is what we do. We promote rappers. We rappers. And Jeezy would kind of rap about a little bit of stuff that they was going on in their life, but it was never really official that he was with them, according to this. But one thing they did say is Meech, he always pay like he weigh, and everybody was always happy because he made sure everybody's pockets was fat. He even paid the DJ to play the music, and 2 Chainz said that he heard Jeezy like 7 times in a row in Magic City one night. So, I mean, you know, he was doing what needed to be done as far as payola and making sure everybody, you know, was trying to get legit. And, he then started Juice Magazine and BMF Entertainment. So I guess he was trying to be like Death Row and The Source. And he said he was trying to hide in plain sight. That's when they signed Blue Da Vinci. And he said that their motto was different than other music companies because they going to focus on one artist at a time. And he said, this damn light getting on my nerves. So they going to focus on one artist at a time. And Blue Da Vinci was their artist. Everybody said that he was terrible. I don't know why Meech and them didn't know this or whatever. But, the cops, nobody believed they was making all that money off of Blue Da Vinci. It just didn't seem realistic. Nobody was buying it. And, cops, if the cops don't buy it, and what the hell do they know about rap, you in trouble. So, all they knew at this moment still was that it was two brothers that run everything, but it was no real cracks in the organization, and so they wasn't really able to get any real evidence to put anything together to try to build a case. Even when they were surveillancing them, all they ever saw was them spending money, which of course is not a crime. You can spend as much money as you want. It's not a crime. Now, if that's illegal money or stolen money, then it's a problem. But if you can't prove that it's illegal or stolen, what you got? So they said they never saw anything else. And everybody, they said, knew what was going on. People would tell them, BMF, they'd selling drugs, this, that, and the other. They like, yeah, but proof. We got to have proof. We can't just say it. We got to have proof. And they wasn't getting any proof. And they said the biggest crack came around September of 2003. And they was like, the same problem happens with all drug dealers, which is making money is cool, but they had the same issue where to hide the money, where to put the money. This damn fan got my nose running, excuse me. But so that became a problem. They had a dude that worked with them named Doc Marshall, and he was like a car dealer. And he was hooking them up with the cars. He knew how to hide money. He was real meticulous on what he was doing. But the problem came because, just like in most things, word got out that dude had money and he used to carry large sums of cash in his safe in his house. And so it was a home invasion. And during the home invasion, Doc killed the guys in self-defense, which wasn't a crime. And that wasn't the issue, but while the cops was there, they found a kilo of coke in his house. They found all kind of records and stuff. A lot of the records was from Exquisite Empire, which was this car dealership service, and it would have in the documents BMF, and then it would say M, or BMF and a T. And so now they like putting it together about these cars and who getting the cars and the names. And so now was a big problem because now they got records of stuff with names on it, and they were starting to put stuff together. Cops, they called it great evidence. They was happy. And, the home invasion began to put the pieces together about BMF and their illegal activities. And even though Meech knew the feds was on his ass, he still continued to party and do everything. And some people in the organization like, man, we need to chill, this, that, and the other. But instead of laying low and chilling, he got even bigger high profile and didn't lay low. And that's when he got the billboard put up. And it was not even far from where the police station was. The police was like, oh, no. He kind of rubbed our face in that. So that was a big mistake. BMF, the world is BMF. That was on the billboard. He had a DVD mixtapes made, and in the DVD mixtapes, he playing the drug kingpin. Basically, he playing himself. Meech was playing a drug kingpin in the DVD mixtapes. How dumb was that? You should have played somebody else at least or something. But he was playing basically himself. And of course the cops got that and started looking at all that. They looking at the billboards. It just Meech on the phone in the prison. He like, I didn't think they'd arrest me for a billboard. I mean, we was just trying to do music. Like, man, you being naive. You being naive. Like, I guess he really thought they didn't know anything. Like, dude, you had to stop thinking. Like, even now on the phone in the documentary, he sound naive. He didn't say, looking back on it now, that was dumb. He like, I ain't think this and that. Da, 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 da. I'm like, what? I thought we was just promoting music. Really? How y'all got all this money with an artist ain't nobody ever bought a record from? So he had on the billboard, the world is BMF, and the cops was like, oh, this dude must be Scarface. They picked up on it right away. Like, okay, the world is yours, just like Scarface. The world is BMF. And he just brought a lot of attention, rubbed it in his face. One of the cops said they didn't think it was real because they like, man, what drug dealer would do this? This ain't real. They not real drug dealers. He just didn't believe it. That's the biker dude. He like, this can't be real. They can't be real drug dealer. What real drug dealer would get a billboard and say this is what they doing? And they had like 5 or 6 billboards throughout the city. Like, what? So they said Terry was furious. He on the phone telling them to take it down, telling people, my brother that went crazy in Atlanta, he putting all this info out. He putting up billboards. We need to stop him. And so it made Terry go crazy about what the hell he was doing, which I would have been snapping too. I ain't gonna lie. I think I might have got out the game at that point if I was Terry and moved to, Bermuda or something. Like, dude tripping. This is about to go down. But in a way, Terry complaining is what gave them the final nail in the coffin. Now, I know this story. They didn't say this part yet. But, him talking and stuff, talking about Meech is crazy, all of that on the phone, that's what, helped seal the deal. Now, that he was attracting too much attention. Some people say him attracting the attention is the problem. Some people say Terry talking on the phone is the problem. I don't know which one come first. They both was wrong in the drug dealing game handbook. But, and the last thing they say in this episode is the next big thing that happened was at Club Chaos. And it was the next major incident, the second domino to fall. And then it kind of leaves leaves us off at that. But I know again what happens with that. I did do a video about what happened, the true story of BMF. Matter of fact, I'll put the link here for you guys if you want to check it out. But just to recap a little bit about what happened at Club Chaos, allegedly a guy touched the car of one of them and they beat him to death. Yep, they beat the guy to death for allegedly touching one of their cars, allegedly, and that really pissed off the cops and everybody because they like, this dude didn't deserve to die like that. And it was just really upsetting to a lot of people. I just put the link in the description. I mean, not in the description, but the link in the comments if you want to check out the breakdown I did, as well as if you go on my homepage and go to the playlist, you can see where my BMF playlist is, and you'll be able to see right here, true story, downfall, rise of BMF. Pretty good story. I even talk about how long before Meech can be free, as well as what's going on with Terry and his court case situation. So definitely check it out. I'll put the link to the video in the comments. It's not a very long video, and you know, you may find some info you didn't know. So with that being said, I appreciate all y'all for watching. I got to give an extra special thank you to Savannah for noticing I'm losing weight. I'm trying. Look at that. I got a little neck respect over here. Face getting a little slimmer. I gotta be ready to wear my swimsuit this summer coming up. Anyway, I appreciate it, y'all. About to be out of here. I'll be in Discord, chop it up with y'all after this. So come through, holla at your boy. Everybody, I'll see y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Deuces, and I'm out.